Coming up, creative takes on agriculture, perfect for living life in the Golden State. California Bountiful starts now.
Hello and welcome to California Bountiful. I'm your host, Aubrey Aquino. Right now, I'm at the original farmers market in LA and I found myself in a bit of a pickle. This spot, Kalen and Kalen, is packing lots of flavor and they're kind of like a big dill.
This was born purely out of the fact that I couldn't find an edible pickle on the West Coast. I'm a New Yorker, fell in love with the West Coast. There's a lot of amazing things here. Unfortunately, pickles were not one of them, and I looked far and wide. I also always believed that pickles could be more than a condiment, that they could stand on their own.
At Kalen and Kalen, they're pickling happiness in every crunch.
It's really about the experience and having fun, and we find that there's so much joy that people and memories that strike up when people try a pickle. And then also, my favorite people are the pickle haters. There's usually one in every group that comes and they kind of slink in the back and they don't want to even touch a pickle.
Located in LA's world-famous Original Farmers Market, their pickle tasting booth is one of a kind.
So we are a pickle tasting bar as a destination. We run anywhere between 11 to 12 different flavors, where people can come and experience and try them. We actually have a pickle flight that was born during COVID because we couldn't sample. So you can come and try 5 flavors of your choice.
From fermented to brined, sweet, salty, or standalone, with a variety of flavors to cure any craving, it's delicious.
Our #1 selling pickle is actually our honey mustard.
I tried their 98%er, the honey mustard pickle, and it was so good.
A tasty experience, no matter which way you slice it.
They are California, 100% California cucumbers. All of the pickles that have any amount of sugar, and it's a very small amount. The caloric intake on our stuff is very, very slight, even with using sugar. The sugar will shrivel the pickle, the cucumber. So that's why we always do those in waffle chips. We range anything from our classic dill, which is kind of what a lot of people think of as a traditional pickle. You know, it's made with vinegar, it's got that nice dilly flavor, it's super crunchy. Getting into a little bit more exotic flavors like our horseradish pickle, which is made with fresh ground horseradish.
Naturally, I started to feel a little picklish, so it was time for me to relish in the moment.
Technically, people think it's a sweet pickle, but it's not. It's actually sweet and tangy. And it won't hit you right away. Most of our spice is on the back end. We also make sure that none of our flavors are tremendously overwhelming.
The heat is, the spice is creeping up on me.
It does in the back.
Not that.
We're not based on the history like a lot of pickles are of like some 100-year-old recipe. You know, we tried to take something that was very old and make it very relevant and fun. My staff doesn't sell pickles here, we sell the experience, the pickles sell themselves. 30 years in the fashion industry, never expected at the stage of my life I would become the pickle man. If you ask me one word, it would be humbled.
Edward's Dry-Aged Meats is a true passion project for meat lover Edward Poe, who was driven to find steak and meat that had more flavor.
When I couldn't find what I was looking for, I decided to try to create it on my own. And the methodology just ended up being dry aging. We sell organically raised beef, pork, lamb, and goat, and our specialty is dry aging. We sell cuts that are ranging from 14 days all the way to 210 plus days in dry aging time.
He spent years experimenting with many cuts of beef, pork, and lamb before perfecting a process to give meat its absolute peak flavor and texture.
Dry aging essentially is taking a raw piece of meat and then creating an environment for it to basically tenderize and add flavor components to it, and hopefully it doesn't spoil in the process. Similar to like winemaking, you can get 2 winemakers, 2 different types of grapes from the same farms, they'll put their magic into it, and the end product is drastically different.
And Edward's aged mission goes beyond just a tasty steak, but adds on an element of education too.
This, the 100-day one, the marbling, the intramuscular fat is much more intense and much more marbled internally. Educating customers about meat, beef, and where it comes from, because all of our stuff is sourced locally, at least from California for the most part. We really care about the product itself, so we want to educate the customer in terms of like, okay, where's it coming from, how do you cook it, how do you treat it, and how do you serve it, and then also open people's eyes in terms of like, okay, for a steak, there's much more than just ribeye, New York, and filet. So we do a lot of different offcuts as well that are also dry aged, that are just not available in most butcher shops or grocery stores. You don't want to cut it too thin, and you don't want to cut it too thick. So usually I like, you're talking about maybe like about 1/8 of an inch, because if it's too thin, you can't chew it. And if you can't chew it, you actually don't get the flavor release. Start with the control, kind of enjoy that, and then move on to this, the 100 days, and then move on to the Wagyu.
Plus, for those craving an experience, he'll carve up a flight of meats for curious minds to compare, contrast, and consume.
Each bite, you should smell it first. Smell it. It's just kind of like you're drinking wine. Smell it, get a good sense of the smell, and then eat it. Chew it a few times, and then go from there. It's just like when you go to taste wine or beer, right? Unless you have different types of the same thing, in this case it's meat or beef, it's hard for people to really pick out the subtle differences in the flavor and the texture, right? So I do the tasting because you have the starting point, which is what most people will be able to buy at a grocery store or butcher shop, right? The run-of-the-mill, really good steak, and then you pair it with the stuff that's been treated with our craft through the dry aging, right? Adding the flavors, the aroma, the subtle nuances to it. And that way, when you eat it side by side, you're really able to appreciate the actual dry aged steak versus the control, which is the unaged one. It can be totally customized, and we basically come to your house, we bring it to you, and we do all the cooking on site, present it, do a little explanation, do a little education as well, and everybody gets to have a fun time.
So this tasting and the methodology was a first for me, but his innovative ideas are getting to the meat of it all.
Customers they span all nationwide, so all the way from California, all the way to New York City, Miami. We ship nationwide, and everybody's enjoying the stuff all over the country, so it's very exciting. There's a lot more people that are interested in where the meat comes from versus not, I found. They're more involved with the process, and they're more interested in quality versus like quantity, I find. So, with the tasting or like a more flavorful meat, you really don't need as much. You just eat and you taste it for the flavor versus like you just trying to eat a whole steak to get full. So not all dry is created equal. So you have different steaks taste differently from different butchers or producers because depending on the environment, it's going to have different flavor qualities to it. My butcher, my chef, I'm neither, because I'm trying to basically take all different avenues of food, right? I'm connecting with the producer, which is the farmer, and I'm trying to put the butcher hat on, I'm trying to put the chef hat on. So I'm taking all these different mind frames and I'm trying to put it into one single entity or one single product for people to enjoy.
Still to come, an ice-cold treat sweetened with California prunes. But first, ag-inspired accessories that are sure to move you. California Bountiful is brought to you by the California Farm Bureau.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
California Farm Bureau's all-new podcast, Voice of California Agriculture, is streaming now. Tune in for the latest farm and food news, legislative updates, and more. Listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can also visit cfbf.com to access the podcast links.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible, she must be a keeper.
Discover more California Bountiful and get social with us. See the stories we're working on and get a peek behind the scenes. Plus, more recipes and fun facts, and join other like-minded foodies and fans of California's bounty. Find, follow, and talk to us at CA Bountiful. Differ from the herd. That's the tagline inspiration for Burlap Bovine, which crafts uniquely handmade leather and cowhide accessories.
I grew up on my family's cow-calf ranch in Livermore, and ironically, as a kid, I was always afraid of cows, and now they're like my favorite. Because I like cows, people sometimes want to give you a gift or say, oh, this cute thing made me think of you, right? And it would always be a Holstein, and I'd be like, oh, but that's a dairy cow. I want a Hereford or an Angus or a Black Baldy. And they didn't exist really. And so I used that as a jumping off point to kind of create my products. I hand stitch all of my pieces.
Mallory Walker runs the small business out of her home using her passion for cattle to get her creativity moving.
It's hard to organically think of ideas that make you stand apart from the crowd or the herd. And I try really, really hard to gain inspiration from within. I started out with a pair of fabric scissors and a piece of cowhide rug, and the rest is kind of history. Now I have upgraded into different pieces of machinery that help me be more efficient in my business, and have gone through the research and the time and the trials and errors from hand tracing and hand cutting my very first pieces. Now I have, I call them cow cookie cutters. They're like cookie cutters, but they're for leather, so they're made of steel. And I have a press. Now I just go out in the garage and I have my clicker press, and that's like my workout for the day. And then I get cute things at the end.
Among her line of ag-inspired jewelry and accessories are earrings.
I started with teardrop shapes and combining different leathers and textures there. And now I've expanded into many more shapes, and I've even started tooling leather. So that's something that was always a dream of mine. Once I got into leather and cowhide, I always envied the leather artists who can think of something in their mind and then put it on leather and make it come to life. One of my most popular items actually is my graduation cap toppers. So I cut a piece of cowhide, and the graduate picks their favorite cowhide, and basically the piece is to glue on top of the mortar board. So I cut a tassel hole for the tassel button so they can still, switch their tassels.
And since it's all handcrafted, each item is unique in its own way. Plus, she can customize the items too.
The limit does not exist on the greens for Christmas trees here. I go back to, is there a story that relates to this product? As a kid, I always remember picking out Christmas ornaments to put on the tree with my mom, and when we decorated the tree. And now I have people who ask me, to brand their child's initials on their Christmas cowhide stocking, or tool a specific name or date into a piece, and that makes it commemorative for them. The sky is the limit, and I always tell people, I hand brand these things, but I'll try.
From online orders to in-person sales, Burlap Bovine is collecting cow fans worldwide.
Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That saying, there should be like a little footnote that, oh, by the way, that doesn't mean it's not going to be stressful.
But at the heart of it all, Mallory credits her family's support for her success.
My dad is a huge inspiration to me, and I have him in a newspaper clipping displayed in my office in his FFA jacket from the same chapter that I was a member of in high school. And it reminds me that I hope, oh, emotional. I hope every day that I'm making him proud, and my mom. My mom is a huge part of my business, as well as my husband. It's truly a family-based business. The most rewarding piece of the puzzle is when someone loves my products as much as I love making them. You know, in a booth setting, someone will walk up and tell their friend especially. I sit in my chair and just giggle in the back because they go back and forth and they're like, oh, look at this, how cute. No, look at this, how cute. Oh my gosh, look at this, how cute. And I'm like, oh, it's like little tiny kudos. But my favorite is when I'm like, they buy a pair of earrings and they say, would you like me to bag it up for you? And they're like, oh no, I'm gonna wear them right now.
Later in the show, you scream ice cream, we're making prune ice cream. And next up, a cured and cultivated approach to serving gourmet snacks.
Hey, Brad, you know how Nationwide is more than an insurance company?
Oh, yeah. They're one of America's largest financial services companies.
Could we get that in a song like business life retirement?
Or Nationwide's there to protect.
Maybe leave the songs to me.
But I'm the one with 3 Grammys.
I'm kind of the jingle guy.
Not sure I agree with that.
Well, I'm not sure I like your hat.
Well, it would never fit on you.
Wow.
The California Farm Bureau has protected the diverse agricultural interests in the Golden State for over a century. As part of the California Farm Bureau, you'll add your voice to the combined strength of over 34,000 farmers, ranchers, and families through our state. That means more connections, more influence, and more opportunity to fight for the issues that impact your life. With your support behind us, California Farm Bureau's robust government affairs, federal policy and farm PAC, and legal teams work tirelessly to advocate at all levels of government, protecting and promoting our shared way of life. Together, California Farm Bureau and our members are standing up for farmers, ranchers, and families throughout the Golden State every day, working to cultivate a bountiful future for all Californians.
Where's a good vending machine when you need one? Well, I have discovered a unique, one-of-a-kind experience right here in Paso Robles, and it's exquisitely cured and cultivated.
It was a dream of mine for a few years because I think it's cool, first of all. Second, we have always tourists here who come all the time, and basically they come here to celebrate or to party. I mean, you never know when you need black caviar, in a sense. It could be 2 a.m. or 8 a.m.
A dream realized in a first-of-its-kind meat and cheese vending machine dispensing an array of gourmet goodies.
Believe it or not, but black caviar is one of the popular things. Then tomato truffle from Point Reyes, paperboard with different cheeses from Central Coast.
The finer things in life, on demand, with a swipe and a push of some buttons.
So it took me like a few months to just develop the idea, what I want to sell there. How I pack like these special paper boards, what I want to put on them. And I really want to showcase local producers and also showcase just general Californian salami and charcuterie, because I mean we have a ton of nice cheeses, a ton of nice meats, and just make it convenient way to kind of like get all the essentials, like different meats, different cheeses from different meals. It took me like a couple of months just to adjust all the spirals there and like understand what I have to change for my product, for salamis and just paperboards.
Then once he got those wheels turning, he used a handcrafted approach in selecting what made the cut.
Selection of product is pretty hard to replicate. I always came to the question from the point of what I would eat. So in a sense, I just now know that these are good cheeses and they are different and they actually represent California, and they are, in a sense, they have unique tastes. So I think it's kind of like a nice palette for our state. Taste of California, where I put a small wedge of tomato, truffle, piece of Central Coast cheese, then a piece of cheese from Stepladder Creamery in Cambria, and some of the local salami from Alapia. So kind of like taste of California. Some point rayers, cheese, Central Coast, step ladder, and some salami from Lapia.
And that taste of California is what led him to this foray into the charcuterie business.
We went wine tasting everywhere, and there was no food there. I mean, except for crackers. So I thought, okay, I can get a vacuum sealer somewhere, and I can slice nice salamis, which we have in store, and just try to offer them. So basically, it's how I started this business 8 years ago, from just slicing some salamis, vacuum sealing them, and offering to local wineries.
So from assembling the cheese plates and distributing to wineries, he now has a way to vend the same items 24/7, 365, rain or shine.
I believe Paso Robles could be like next Aspen in a sense. I mean, it's a small village, but I mean, we've got like 3 Michelin star restaurants around here. People come here for gourmet experience. They come here for great wines, they come here for great food. So I think we are in the right spot for that type of business. This whole business was just built on $50 investment and a ton of enthusiasm and like a ton of hard work. With this type of venture, we can reach people who will not even search for cheese shop otherwise. Just imagine like some random people somewhere like at RV park. They still want food, and they present it with a nicer version of snacks, and it's local, and they don't have to go for that far away to buy some.
Straight ahead, we're churning out a sweet recipe for prune ice cream. This is California Bountiful.
You love your pet and would do pretty much anything for them. But sometimes pet healthcare costs can make your wallet growl. That's why we created My Pet Protection, pet insurance designed exclusively for employees like you. Get reimbursed for eligible veterinary expenses. Enjoy extra perks like Vet Helpline, Pet RX Express, and more. Use any vet anywhere. Signing up is easy. Just tell us about your pet and choose your level of reimbursement. My Pet Protection is available only through your employer. Get a no-obligation quote today.
Bring it. Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home.
Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one? I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.
We're gonna make a vegan ice cream using bananas, and this is another thing that I really love about California prunes is the diversity, right? It's like they can go from savory to sweet, and we're making a chocolate ice cream because they really pair well with chocolate. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna slice up some bananas, but we have to like line our baking sheet with parchment paper. So I showed you that magic trick.
Yes,
Are you ready
I know how to do it.
Am
I crinkling it up?
You
right?
are perfect, yeah. Just like you want to throw it away and then completely unwrap it, and then it'll just shape to the pan.
Great.
Isn't that great? Super easy, right?
I will never forget this. I will never forget this hack.
Okay, now we're just gonna slice some bananas. It's just a really easy plant-based ice cream. The thing I like about this one is like it's kid-friendly. Like kids can help with the prep. It's a healthier snack, dessert for kids. Makes it really great too.
Right.
And just kind of gets them introduced to California prunes. So that works out well also.
All right.
There you go.
I mean, prunes on their own are pretty sweet.
They are. It pairs so well with chocolate. It just works really well in this recipe. So I love it for that reason. So I'm gonna peel this last one here.
And where was the inspiration for this recipe, or is this something you've been making and you decided, hey, let's try it with prunes?
You know, this is something I've been making for a while, and I'm always looking for new ways to do this. It's actually one of my most popular videos on my YouTube channel is ice cream. And so I'm always looking for new ways to make ice cream. And I like making vegan versions. I like making, you know, dairy versions. And, you know, when I was kind of thinking about how to use California prunes, I just know that they work so well with those holiday spices and with chocolate that I wanted to like showcase that. And just how you can add a little bit of extra sweetness to this, because sometimes people will add a processed sugar, you know, and this, you don't have to. You can use a whole natural sugar. So,
very good.
So we're gonna take this and just freeze it.
Okay. All right, so here we have our frozen bananas.
Yeah, have our frozen bananas. As you can see, they're kind of stuck on there. So we're just gonna add them to the bowl of the food processor. And like I said, it can be a little tricky at first. You're gonna think it's not working because they will just kind of turn into a crumble versus a creamy, smooth ice cream-like product, but they eventually get there.
And why do you think this one has been so popular?
I think that people, you know, I think people want the things that are comforting, like those comfort foods, but they want foods that are like not as processed. They want more, you know, just regular whole foods. And I think that this is just a great version of that. It's also a great way to fight food waste. If you have leftover bananas that are kind of turning brown and you're just tired of banana bread, like you can make this instead.
Yeah, who doesn't like a good ice cream?
Right, exactly. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookies and cream.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's super popular these days.
It is. Have you had the mint chocolate cookie? Like from
No, I don't think I have.
That's a good one.
But maybe it will be chocolate, was it called chocolate banana prune?
There
Banana
you go.
chocolate?
Yeah.
Prune banana chocolate?
Prune banana chocolate, yeah. So we have our bananas. We're gonna add in a little bit of, now, so you can make this completely vegan. I'm using a coconut-based cream here, but you can use a regular cream if you wanted to. So add that in. Add in some cocoa powder.
Ooh.
Yeah, right, make it chocolatey. And we need a handful of prunes, so we got our prunes here. You can add as many as you want. I just add in about 5 or so.
Any tips for prune storage? I mean, they keep pretty good?
You know, they do last for so long. You know, I keep most of my dried fruit in the fridge or the freezer because it just lasts longer. But, you know, I think prunes will keep at room temperature for, you know, quite a while.
Nice. Another positive for prunes.
Yeah, exactly. Fight that food waste. Okay, we're just gonna pulse this just to the chocolate.
Ooh, look at that.
Right?
So is this like guilt-free ice cream?
It is guilt-free because it's just all plants, right?
A whole food, natural ingredients.
Yeah, sweetened with prunes. I add a little bit of salt to mine just to kind of give that salted chocolate thing, you know, but yeah, super easy.
So am I gonna taste more chocolate or taste more prune?
I think you're gonna taste more chocolate, but I think you should, you know, top off your sundae first. Get some sprinkles on there, get some nuts on there.
Gotta have those sprinkles. Okay.
There you go. Okay, ready for your prune chocolate banana sundae? Or we
Okay,
here,
cheers.
toast you.
Mmm. Taste the bananas.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the crunch of the nuts on top of the sprinkles.
Yeah, but just easy, simple.
Jerry, this is delicious.
I'm glad you like it. Something other than steak. There you go. You can.
I think my kids would go for this.
Yeah, it's super easy. That's it. It's a kid-friendly recipe. They can help make it, you know, and like you said, it's guilt-free.
That's going to do it for this episode of California Bountiful. Thanks for tuning in. You can find more of our segments online at californiabountiful.com. Take care, and we'll see you next time.